So if astrology is so real, then why can one Libra meet another Libra and they may have some similarities, but they also have some major differences in their personality? Well, in this video, you're gonna find out. Hello, beautiful people. Your moon sign reveals your emotional disposition, how you feel about things, and because we are motivated much of the time by how we feel, this can have a major influence on our personalities, especially in romantic relationships because we're operating from our emotions much of the time. So in this video, I will be uncovering the truth behind Libra and how having each moon sign will influence their personality. And all I ask in return is that you show a little bit of love by hitting that like button. It's really easy, it's free, and it doesn't take a lot of effort. Just a little tap, a baby tap. Okay, no more wasting time. Here are the 12 faces of Libra, a brief personality description of Libra based on what moon sign they have. Let's go. Okay, so if someone is Libra with Aries Moon, we're starting off with a situation where the sun and moon are polar opposites. So this person will operate in extremes, but they will also have the positive influence of this situation where some of the negative traits of each sign will be counterbalanced by the influence of its polar opposite. For example, Libras are usually known for being indecisive. Well, not really when it comes to a Libra with Aries Moon, because Aries energy is extremely decisive. So that Aries influence lends to this being a personality that is much more decisive than other Libras. Also, Aries is known for being a bit self-centered at times, and Libra is the sign of balance and partnership. So the Libra sun sign will influence the Aries moon energy to factor in the balance of relationship, and they will consider talking things through with their partner before they make a final decision. So this personality, although they have Aries moon, will be less self-centered than other Aries moon combinations. Now, both of these energies are cardinal energies, so this will amplify this personality's tendency and ability to take the lead and feel very comfortable running things. A Libra with Aries moon will also have a great sense of humor and enjoy practical jokes, expressing their more playful side, and overall be much more willing to be impulsive than other Libra personalities. They are still Libras, which is ruled by Venus, so they'll have great taste and a refined nature on the outside, but they will also be much more fiery and willing to express their opinions without worrying so much about it being taken the wrong way. So when it comes to their day-to-day and their ability to apply their talents and take initiative, this personality should have no problem achieving success at whatever they put their time and energy into. Now, when it comes to romantic relationships, just like most Libras, they will for sure be wired to and be excited by the idea of love and manifesting their soulmate. However, in that process, because they have Aries moon, they might be quick to judge a first date or a potential partner based on some small infraction or undesirable personality trait and just kick them to the curb pretty quickly if they don't measure up to their standards or desires. So they won't have a hard time attracting potential partners, but they may have a hard time finding the one that they feel like is worthy of the time and effort necessary to stay in a long-term relationship, because a Libra with Aries moon is picky because of their Libra sun and emotionally impulsive because of their Aries moon. They will be independent and confident, but because their sun and moon are opposites, they may be inconsistent in what they present to the world, meaning their moods may shift from shy to outgoing pretty frequently. So overall, when it comes to a Libra with Aries moon, you will get an assertive, charming, powerful personality that has more of a temper than the usual Libra, but also has a less destructive way of handling that anger than most Aries moon personalities. This person will be loving, but they'll be hard to pin down for an extended period of time. What you know you will get from them for sure is direct communication of how they feel, and a what you see is what you get version of a decisive, playful, powerful, loving, but very independent Libra. Okay, Libra with Taurus moon. Now this version of Libra is going to be pretty similar to Libra with Aries moon, but without the temper and with a more refined way of going about achieving their goals. This Libra will be clear on their purpose and will have the patience to see their vision through to the end. They will also be very well liked. They will have the friendly disposition of both Libra and Taurus with charm and an attractive energy about them. And due to the fact that Taurus energy is very stable and decisive, this will also give this Libra a bit more confidence than the usual Libra when it comes to their opinions and when it comes to asserting themselves. So they will be a decisive version of Libra. Both Taurus and Libra are ruled by Venus, so they will for sure be attracted to beauty and material success. This personality will also have the gift of not only finding the most efficient way of doing something, but they will do so while also finding the path of least resistance. They do have that Taurus ability to stay the course, but they also have that Libra understanding that work smarter, not harder, is always the way to go. So when it comes to their work ethic and overall potential for success, this version of Libra will do well in business and also has the capability, the personality, and creativity to do well in the performing arts. A Libra with Taurus Moon may be a little more stubborn than Libras with other moon signs, but they aren't confrontational or abrasive. That Venus influence of both their sun and moon lends to them being all about harmony and not sweating the small stuff. Now, when it comes to love, they will be very clear on what they're looking for, and they will also be a version of Libra that is excited by and capable of long-term commitment. Yes, they will first be attracted to beauty, but they also are attracted to consistency and stability. So this will lend to them manifesting a relationship with major potential for long-term success. In their day-to-day life, they have excellent judgment, but when it comes to love, they do slip in this area a bit because Taurus is a bit more sentimental and emotional than Libra, and this can throw the Libra sun energy off balance, and they can find themselves making one too many sacrifices when it comes to love, which can lend to an imbalance in their relationships, which can lead to heartbreak. So this personality may find themselves having a few seriously disappointing relationships before they finally land that perfect match. If there are any Libras with Taurus Moon out there watching this, remember the balance of give and take in a relationship is so important for fulfillment. Loving someone enough to be willing to share and sacrifice is a beautiful thing, but you don't want to be the only one sharing and making these sacrifices. Make sure that the balance is strong. That way you are not finding yourself being taken advantage of. A Libra with Taurus Moon will do best with an assertive, emotionally expressive partner that is consistent, protective, but also independent. A Libra with Taurus Moon should absolutely stay away from codependent types or people that are really excited by other people doing things for them. So overall, a Libra with Taurus Moon is elegant, organized, dependable, loyal, sometimes stubborn, and can have bouts of laziness, but definitely a loving, kind-hearted, very charming energy to be around. So if you ever have the chance to know this personality, the thought of them or the memory of them, depending on if they're still in your life, will always bring a smile to your face. Okay, Libra with Gemini Moon. Okay, we have a double air situation here and all that entails. This personality will be intelligent, well-spoken, and never be at a loss for conversation or ideas. They will be creative, adaptable, and much better at handling quick shifts or spur-of-the-moment choices than other Libras. Now, this doesn't mean that they're very decisive. They may change their mind 1,000 times before they land on the final judgment, but in terms of not being intimidated by fast-paced activity, no, they're very good at not being emotionally reactive. They would prefer, however, to not be pressured in any way. They like for their life to be lighthearted and fun, and they see no purpose for emotional drama. This personality is very expressive and well-liked by the people around them because they come off as very genuine. This person is for sure going to get bored easily and would prefer to have as many things going on as possible so they can feel like they're always learning and having new experiences, as long as none of it comes with unnecessary pressure or expectations. They may lack a bit of practicality unless their rising is Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo, or Scorpio, but who needs practicality when you have the creativity to problem solve no matter what you're faced with? They're very open-minded but not gullible, and they will for sure give you their honest, direct opinion about something. So if you don't like that hard truth, then you may not want to ask them what they think about a topic that you're sensitive about. So when it comes to their professional world, as long as they're either in the arts, entertainment, or some form of work that allows them freedom of expression and the ability to be creative and the environment where they can capitalize on their connection with people, then they will absolutely be successful. A profession that is too tedious or boring to them will feel like prison, so they should shy away from those fields, obviously. Now, when it comes to love, here is where they find a challenge. They are flirtatious and fun-loving for sure, but much of the time they have a difficult time manifesting a relationship that is grounded in long-term commitment. This isn't because they're incapable of commitment, but more so because they aren't ever really pressed about finding love, and because sometimes they're perceived as hard to read because they have that adaptability to express certain parts of their personality based on the environment they're in. So that sometimes can just be read as inconsistent by some people and may keep that person unsure about approaching them. They do best in relationships where they can be friends first and then allow that to develop into what they've always envisioned for themselves. It does get tricky though, because much of the time they may find themselves attracted to unavailable types or to unrealistic scenarios. A Libra with Gemini Moon can have a great imagination, which works well for manifesting professionally and can work with relationships, but at times they can be so caught up in the fantasy of something that they don't recognize its limitations. They're absolutely caring and generous and compassionate lovers, but it is very important for them to be with someone who is grounded. They also need to be a great communicator because a Libra with Gemini Moon must be able to talk things out with someone that they're in a relationship with. More than likely, they will find themselves having many relationships before they truly settle down. But once they find someone that is a free spirit but practical enough to make a long-term relationship a priority, then they will make an amazing, fun-loving, hard to pin down, but always exciting partner. Okay, Libra with Cancer Moon. So if you've been watching my videos, you know that I always say when you put the element air with the element water, you are going to get waves. Well, you definitely will get some waves when it comes to this personality type. They will be a much more emotional version of Libra. The beauty of this personality is they will be very supportive, nurturing, and have the intuition to be an extremely present person for anyone they love or feel close to. They will also have a ton of energy in terms of going after their goals, and because of their double cardinal energy, they will also have the ability to confidently take the lead if a situation calls for it. They will, however, find themselves being thrown off balance whenever their emotions get triggered, and this can lead to them having a hard time refocusing their energy in a productive way until the issue is resolved. Although they may be very assertive, being a Libra with Cancer Moon has its challenges when it comes to being decisive. This is because sometimes how they feel will be in conflict with how they think, and Libras already have a hard enough time honing in on the clarity of what it is they truly think in terms of finalizing a decision. So if they have a rising like, let's say, Capricorn or Scorpio, then that absolutely helps with this. They will have a much easier time navigating life. But if they have a rising sign like Gemini or Pisces, this can actually add to the frustration that they feel when it comes to having the confidence that they're making the right decision. Although they do love people, they do also have the need to retreat at times and be alone because they can get overwhelmed by too much energy around them. They're definitely the live and let live type, so they pretty much won't get involved or cause any conflict where there's an issue that doesn't directly concern them, so they won't be organizing any protests anytime soon. They would much rather adapt, get along, and keep the peace. They're for sure well liked because they make an effort to accommodate the energy around them. As a matter of fact, they can find themselves being too much of a people pleaser at times and sacrificing their needs for the needs of others. Now, when it comes to romantic relationships, this is where their more feisty side will come out. Cancer is definitely not as concerned with keeping the peace as Libra, and in romantic relationships, this personality type will be operating much more from their Cancer Moon than they will be from their Libra Sun. Cancer is friendly and kind for sure, but if they are triggered in any way, they aren't thinking, let me keep the peace here. They're thinking, I want this issue solved and I want it solved now, otherwise the person who's responsible for this is gonna pay. So where the world around them may describe them as the most easygoing person they've ever known, their significant other may find this hilarious and wonder to him or herself what in the world these people are talking about. They'll be fun-loving, caretaking, and loyal, but at times moody, critical, and demanding. So they will do well to have a partner that is a great communicator and understands their emotional needs. Otherwise, they may find themselves in a relationship where there's constant bickering. If they have a rising that can let things roll off their back pretty easily, like Sagittarius or Aquarius, then there'll be less moments of conflict. But the good news is, if you're in a relationship with them and they're upset about something, if you just find out what they need in order to feel better, instead of trying to tell them that they shouldn't feel the way that they feel, if you tend to those needs instead of judging those needs, they will go right back to being the loving, understanding, passionate partner that you know and love. But if the issue does not get resolved, get ready, because like I said, Libras don't like conflict, but Cancer Moon is ready for battle if they're feeling unloved or underappreciated in any way. So overall, when it comes to a Libra with Cancer Moon, you will get a personality that is very responsible, capable, dependable, and excellent in social situations. And when it comes to love, they're romantic, wired for partnership for sure, protective and sensitive, but moody and at times demanding. However, if there's a healthy balance of give and take, and you are consistent with making them feel appreciated and understood, you will have yourself a heavenly, happy relationship. Okay, Libra with Leo Moon. Now this is a situation where the sun sign and the moon sign are two signs that are very compatible. So you're gonna get a very well-liked, charismatic personality that has a peaceful disposition. When you have a personality where the sun and moon are very compatible, as long as their rising isn't something that throws off this balance, their mind and their heart will pretty much be in accordance with each other, so they won't have much inner conflict, which lends to a very positive outer energy. This personality loves learning, exchanging ideas, and interacting with different types of people. They're extremely talented and usually gifted performers, so don't be surprised if you find this personality in a performing arts profession or in a profession that is within the world of entertainment. Although they are friendly and social, they do also require recognition for their efforts. So if they feel underappreciated, you will for sure get their dark side. Remember, their moon is still fire, so if they don't like something or someone, it will be known. Even if not spoken, because Libra doesn't like conflict, you will still feel the energy of their disdain for whoever they aren't feeling at the time. However, if you do communicate with them, you will access the fact that Leo and Libra do make a combination that can be direct and clear with their thoughts and feelings, so if you take the time to talk things out, it will usually end in a resolution. This personality is a great organizer and also does well in leadership roles. They are very creative and are very enthusiastic when it comes to taking on a project. Just don't freely criticize them, or you will for sure see their not so diplomatic side. If they ask your opinion, sure, be honest, but if you're going to criticize, make it constructive. And if they didn't ask you for your opinion, well, you should probably keep it to yourself. If they are in a leadership role, they can be pretty bossy, but they do come with a great sense of humor, so it makes their assertive nature a little easier to bear. Now, in relationships, they can start off as an independent person because that's how they're naturally wired to be, but over time, they can become a bit more dependent, especially if they have a partner who is very giving and supportive. They thrive in a situation where they have companionship, so they can easily get used to using that support as a bit of a crutch. So it's good to know that if you're dating someone with this combination, or you're in a long-term relationship, that the balance of being connected and being independent is going to be very important in terms of you two having strong potential for longevity. They will be very generous in love and also require devotion and attention in return. So in this way, when it comes to the emotional exchange, balance will be easy to achieve, and this is because if they're getting what they deserve, it will absolutely not go overlooked. So either the balance will be achieved or the relationship will suffer a swift end. A Libra with Leo Moon does have a flair for drama, so when they're expressing themselves emotionally, it can be a bit of a display, whether it's positive emotions or negative emotions. So you will at least know where they stand with you at all times. As long as you give them the recognition they feel they deserve, you will have a lively, loving, intelligent, and capable partner on your hands. But if you don't give them what they feel they deserve, then I hope you've studied self-defense, because
Molly, you in danger, girl.
So overall, a Libra with Leo Moon is someone with a thirst for knowledge and an excitement for life, who is expressive and compassionate with a clear desire to be appreciated, and they are absolutely someone that will give you all the love that you deserve. But remember, deserve is the key word. Okay, Libra with Virgo Moon. Okay, so you know how for most of these combinations, I will say that Libra doesn't like conflict? Well, this version of Libra has absolutely no problem with it at all. This Libra will be intelligent, independent, analytical, and has absolutely no problem whatsoever letting you know their opinion, whether you like it or not, and whether you ask for it or not. They are very insightful and rational, and they pride themselves on speaking only on things that they feel that they've gained knowledge about based on their experience. They're not very emotional for the sake of feeling. They do care very deeply about things, but it's much more from a rational place. It has to make sense to them in order for them to care. They're much more of a thinker than they are a feeler. So much of the time, if they're expressing their feelings, they're still going to be more likely to start the sentence with what I think is they would make an excellent lawyer or a teacher. And a Libra with Virgo Moon will have a strong hold on languages and be gifted at getting to the root of an issue and problem solving. And even though they're confident with their opinions, when it comes to socializing in general, they can be shy at times. They're very capable of success, but they for sure have to ease up on being so hard on themselves. They have a tendency to worry or feel underprepared, because for them, the bar that they have for considering themselves ready for action is extremely high. But you can be reassured that if they do have a task, it will get done, and it will get done efficiently and as close to perfect as possible. Also, where many Libras may fall short of consistency and having the stamina to see something through to the end, not a Libra with Virgo Moon. They are extremely disciplined and will make sure that if they have a task, it will get completed, especially if someone else is depending on them. Now, when it comes to love, here's where we can have a bit of an issue. Although they are loving, they can sometimes come off as too logical. Even when they're sharing their feelings for someone, it may sound more like they're objectively assessing a situation as opposed to sharing their vulnerabilities and their inner world. They can also be very critical. Remember, they're also this way with themselves, and they feel the way that most people with Virgo Moon do feel, and that is, if you really love someone, you will hold them to the standard of being the best version of themselves that they can possibly be. Anything else is unacceptable. So if you're in a relationship with them, you may feel like they are never satisfied, and some part of that may be true, but like I said, they are wired to be this way, and they are this way with themselves. They will be loyal to a connection, and they give great advice, but if you're looking for overly romantic or sensitive or someone who wears their heart on their sleeve, then for sure look somewhere else. But if you're looking for a strong partner that will be by your side and work through problems with efficiency and sense of purpose, that may not be the mushy type, but will make sure that the foundation the two of you stand on is strong, then a Libra with Virgo Moon may be the perfect match for you. And don't get me wrong, they can be very loving and they can express that love. It just may not always feel that way to people that are overly sentimental or overly sensitive. Just make sure and have compassion for their need to always feel that they're improving and fixing anything that needs fixing. Their mind will be going at all times, and it's hard to quiet that mental activity for them. So the more balance and serenity that someone can bring to their life, the more that they will appreciate that person for their efforts. But if you're very sensitive to criticism, for sure look elsewhere. Okay, Libra with Libra Moon. Okay, now this is that situation where you have a sign more than once in your big three, and it's gonna mean for sure that it's amplifying the traits of that sign. So having Libra as your sun sign and moon sign is gonna amplify the positive traits as well as the negative traits. So this personality is absolutely gonna be friendly, open-minded, concerned with making sure that the people that they interact with and even the world at large, as much as they can have an influence on it, is happy. But they will also be very impatient, indecisive, and unfortunately for them, they will also be very influenced by the energy around them. Libra is one of those naturally empathetic energies. So if you have a personality that is Libra sun and Libra moon, it is so important to be conscious of what type of people you allow in your inner space. And when you find yourself in situations that you know aren't good for you, you have to make sure that you prioritize your well-being enough to remove yourself from that energy. This personality is made up of a double cardinal energy, so they are for sure going to be all about taking any ideas or inspiration that they may have and jumping into action and manifesting what they envision. However, this is where their impatience and indecisive nature may come into play and work against them. They may find themselves frustrated at not getting the results that they desire as quickly as they would like, and instead of pushing through, they may allow another idea's excitement to take their focus and then move on, leaving the previous goal to fade away. So they work best if they have a partner that is practical, supportive, and assists them in terms of dealing with some of the more tedious tasks when it comes to them achieving their goals. So if they can implement a little bit more practicality and consistency into their world, they should have no problem achieving some level of success when it comes to their day-to-day or professional world. Now, when it comes to love, this personality is extremely charming, charismatic, flirtatious, and always knows the right thing to say just at the right time. However, they can be very on again, off again with their feelings. One day they can feel like they have found the one and they're so happy with the fact that they have chosen to be with you, and the next day they can be questioning whether or not they've made the right decision, although absolutely nothing has really changed other than the date. So if you're dating someone with this personality, make sure you have compassion for the fact that when their moods shift, which is often, so will their perspective on things. So if they need reassurance in some area or they're having some doubts, make sure you're open and receptive to the conversation that can get them to a place where their confidence can replace any insecurities. Having Libra Moon is a difficult placement, and if your sun is Libra, that makes it that much more challenging to feel consistently confident in your choices. They do despise and try to avoid any conflict though. So if they know or even think that you're the type of person that meets their vulnerability with frustration or judgment, then they will keep their thoughts to themselves for fear of facing conflict, which will lead to a disconnect over time. So it is very important to have great communication if you're in a relationship with someone that is Libra with Libra Moon. So overall, someone that is Libra with Libra Moon will be diplomatic, excellent with people, open-minded, intelligent, and someone with great tastes who is wired to be in a relationship but will need a lot of understanding, open communication, and a balance of give and take when it comes to love and compassion. If they have this, you will get the best version of them and the relationship will absolutely thrive. Okay, Libra with Scorpio Moon. Well, I'm gonna tell you right now that this is a very intense version of Libra, where much of the time when I'm describing Libras, I'll say that they're easygoing and they like being lighthearted. A Libra with Scorpio Moon has a ton of emotional depth, and although they do intend to be easygoing, meaning they don't want to cause problems at all, but they do, however, have a very hard time overlooking any behavior or actions that they don't like. Where many Libras will stay quiet about something just to keep the peace, not a Libra with Scorpio Moon. Now they will wait until they feel like they're fed up or that they feel like they've had enough information to confront someone, but for sure they do not shy away from confrontation. This is a very focused version of Libra as well. Libras sometimes have a hard time staying the course and seeing a goal through to the end, but a Libra with Scorpio Moon can get borderline obsessive about a goal and will do anything and everything in their power to achieve that goal once they've established what they want. The Scorpio Moon energy will decimate Libra's indecisive chip, so no problem there. They will, however, go much more on how they feel about something as opposed to what they think. And they don't care what anyone says. If they aren't feeling it, they aren't doing it. They also will prefer to lead or be in control of a situation when it comes to working in a group of any kind, so they do well with adaptable types types that are team players and that don't mind putting them in a leadership role. Now, Libra is the sign of partnership, and anyone with Scorpio Moon as their emotional disposition is going to be very passionate both physically and emotionally. So when it comes to love, a Libra with Scorpio Moon will be very sexual, and more than likely, you will always find them in some sort of romantic connection. You know those people that you have in your life that are rarely truly single? Meaning even if they have just broken up from their long-term relationship, they always have someone that they're either casually dating or they're dating to work towards a long-term connection. They prefer to have someone to share their life with, but more importantly for them, the emotional and physical interaction and connection of being with someone is very high on their priority list. Now, this person will also be pretty jealous and have a bit of a temper. Remember my theory about water and air. You're going to get waves when you put them together, and this personality has some serious emotional waves. When things are going good, they are amazing with them, but when they're bad, they have a hard time not being reactive. So if you're in a relationship with this personality, it is very important to communicate and find out their deal breakers early on in the relationship, meaning talk things out with them and get to know what their triggers are so you can make sure that you stay away from that behavior. Also open up and take the time to let them know what your do's and don'ts are. This way, the two of you can stay away from conflict as much as possible. But this personality is not the easiest to find resolution with, especially if they're dealing with someone who has a strong personality also. They can be very loving and protective and passionate, but they do have a dark side and they can hold grudges, and where Libras usually see both sides of any point, when they have Scorpio Moon and that Scorpio Moon is triggered, they're seeing things one way. Their way. Their biggest fear is feeling vulnerable or judged. So as long as you stay away from that sort of energy, you can get the beautiful side of who they are. So overall, a Libra with Scorpio Moon is a personality that is incredibly strong when it comes to inspiring others. They are someone that has depth, insight, intensely passionate emotions, but those emotions are guarded and they can be hard to read at times. They will be driven, competitive, and have all the tools to make it to the top, but when it comes to love, it will be very important to take the time to get to the space where they feel comfortable and safe with truly opening up with you, because any feeling of insecurity can turn into a tidal wave of drama. Like I said, when they're good, they're amazing, but when things go in the other direction, beware, because they can be just as powerful on the negative side as they can on the positive. Okay, Libra with Sagittarius Moon. Now this is another one of those situations where the sun sign and the moon sign are compatible. So you will get a personality that is very much at peace with who they are. This person will be open-minded and intelligent, with their main priority in life being learning as much as possible and experiencing the different cultures, people, and adventures that life has to offer. They really just want to have fun and have an easygoing time doing it. They are live and let live. And this doesn't mean that they're angels by any means. They are live and let live, but they do have some strong opinions about how things should be done, and they don't try to enforce these rules on anyone else. But if you have anyone in your life that is a Libra with Sagittarius Moon, then you know for sure, then they can go on a few rants about the state of the world or how stupid someone's behavior is. It's pretty harmless though, it's more for just venting purposes, but their perspective can have a judgmental hint to it. So they're very accepting of everyone and believe in an individual's freedom to make their own decisions, but when push comes to shove, they are very clear on what they believe to be right and wrong, and they have no problem voicing that perspective. It's basically that a Libra with Sagittarius Moon is actually surprised when they're faced with the fact that everyone doesn't live up to their standard of integrity. They have the beautiful gift of offending someone with their direct and honest perspective, but then somehow instantly smoothing it over so no negative energy is lingering. This personality is a visionary but lacks practicality at times, or at least the patience to deal with the tedious details that would be considered practical necessities. An example would be they would for sure much rather focus on the excitement of what they're going to spend their money on as opposed to sitting down and creating a detailed budget in order to plan for the future. As long as they do implement some level of practicality into their personality, they can for sure be successful in whatever career path they take, especially if it involves teaching or sharing information and enriching the lives of other people. They thrive when it comes to dealing with people because they have that expansive Sagittarius optimism and that charm that Libra brings with it. Now, when it comes to love, this personality will not lack in experience. They are always open to connection and exploring what the world of romance has to offer, but they do have an idealistic vision of what the perfect partner for them would be, and they aren't settling for anything less. So they may have many relationships in their life before they truly settle down. The good news is, although they are Libras, and we know Libras are the signs of relationship, with that Sagittarius Moon of theirs, they are perfectly fine with the freedom that being single can bring. So in order for them to settle down and be committed to one person for an extended period of time, they will need someone that stimulates them mentally, physically, and someone that also views independence within a relationship relationship as a major positive. They are very generous, compassionate, but not overly sentimental, and although their moon is fire, they're pretty balanced in terms of their temper, unless they have a rising like either Aries or Scorpio. It can flare up for sure, but they don't necessarily allow it to lead to them being reactive or obstinate. So overall, a Libra with Sagittarius Moon is a social, adaptable, highly intelligent person with a great sense of humor and a big heart capable of deep love, but a love that must come with freedom, great communication, and a partner that is always willing to grow and explore the many different perspectives that life has to offer. Someone with too many expectations is a huge turn off for them, not because they can't meet the expectations, but because they don't appreciate pressure of any kind or in any form. So if you're interested in living in the moment and seeing where love and life can take you, then a Libra with Sagittarius Moon may be the absolute perfect match for you. If you're all about sitting down and planning out your future together with a bunch of rules and regulations and timed deadlines, then absolutely look elsewhere. Okay, Libra with Capricorn Moon. I have two words: hilarious and bossy. Now, with this combination, more times than not, it's gonna result in a personality that has a great sense of humor. It's something about putting the dry, practical, direct perspective of Capricorn with the unique, witty perspective of Libra that when expressed results in ideas that are lighthearted enough not to be depressing, but painfully honest enough to really make you think and laugh. So if you ever have the pleasure of knowing this personality, you will for sure spend much of the time laughing with them. They're also made up of two cardinal energies, so you will get a very assertive version of Libra and a decisive version of Libra, which makes for a very powerful Libra. And this version of Libra is not afraid of that power. They won't be loud and bossy like Libra with Aries Moon, but they will be bossy nonetheless in terms of knowing what they want, having a very particular way of how they think getting what they want should be executed, and not having a problem asserting themselves to make sure things go the way they want them to go. Libra is still diplomatic though, and Capricorn really cares about how the public views them, so the Capricorn energy doesn't counterbalance that diplomatic trait, so more than likely they're still going to be well liked by their social circles. Speaking of social, they will be a bit more shy and reserved initially than most Libras when it comes to non-work related situations. They will assert themselves when necessary, but in a situation where they're just socializing, they like to be a bit more understated and take things in first before they let it all hang out. Now when it comes to their path to success, they don't need to rely that much on Libra's charm. Although it does help, they instead rely on their sound judgment and their work ethic, which will more than likely see them through to the end of any goal. The only thing that can get in their way is when they do have their minds set on something, being a very specific way, they can implement that earth sign stubbornness to get stuck and at times miss opportunities because of it. Nonetheless, they always make a way even when there seemingly is no way, so they land on their feet in the end, and absolutely on solid ground. Now when it comes to love, they are fair, balanced, loyal, and an honest lover. Where other Libra personalities may be excited for love but unsure of it, a Libra with Capricorn Moon has no fear of commitment and usually doesn't do casual dating. If they're gonna open their heart to someone or even entertain the idea, it's because they feel the person is worth their time and they're sure of it. If they feel any uncertainty, they trust their instincts, which are very good by the way, and they move on before giving someone too much of their valuable time. They are loyal to a fault though, and although they have good judgment, once they're in a committed relationship, they may find themselves staying a bit too long in a situation that may not be working, because when they do give something or someone their all, it is very difficult for them to feel like they're giving up in any way, which works great when they're independently working on a goal, but relationship-wise, it takes two people to make it work. So if one person is falling short of their responsibilities, well, there isn't much the other person can do. So if there are any Libras with Capricorn Moon out there watching this, if you aren't having your needs met in a relationship and you've communicated those needs and you feel like you've done all you can and the other person is not reciprocating your level of dedication, then love yourself enough to know you deserve better and just let it go. So overall, a Libra with Capricorn Moon is a personality that is creative, one that values honesty, loyalty, commitment, and is a natural peacemaker with a great sense of humor, who can at times be distant, hard to read, and may have a hard time letting go of someone or something even though it may not be good for them. They will have good taste and bring an air of charm and calm to any room they walk in. They don't do drama and they for sure shy away from unnecessary conflict. But just know, if you do find yourself in an argument with them, they have a very hard time admitting when they're wrong. But if you do have that opportunity to be in a relationship with them, they are capable of deep love that is balanced, sincere, and can for sure stand the test of time. Okay, Libra with Aquarius Moon. Now, where many Libra personalities can find themselves being sidetracked by trying to be a people pleaser, not this Libra. A Libra with Aquarius Moon is all about doing things their way and maintaining their individuality at any cost. They have a very active mind, which in one way can be a challenge for them because they feel like they can never shut their mind off, which can be exhausting. But on the positive side, they are capable of coming up with very clear ideas and ingenious ways to solve problems. Although they are social, they can be having a great time with people, but on the inside, they can still feel like they're misunderstood or feel like an outsider. They find their most excitement in trying new things and trying them in new ways. Anything basic or mundane to them is uninteresting, and they will do anything in their power to steer clear from those types of experiences and people. They make incredible friends and will give you great advice if you have something that you're going through and you just can't figure out what to do about it. They will give you a way of looking at a situation that will not just empower you, but it will also give you the optimism and clarity to move forward and get to the other side of whatever issue it is that you're facing. And we know Libra energy is very empathetic and Aquarius energy is very driven by humanitarian pursuits. So selfishly is not at all how this personality navigates life. They want their life to have meaning. And for them, meaning means making a difference in not just one life, but having a positive effect on the largest number of people possible. They will for sure find success in whatever they do because they are smart enough to find a way to make anything work. But it will help if they're with a practical, grounded partner to help them focus and deal with the details. They have great ideas and they're great at organizing those ideas into a vision, but dealing with the details can at times be boring for them. So a balance of energy is best, meaning they work really well within a team. Going in it alone, they are capable of that, but they thrive more when they can feed off the energy of other people. Now, when it comes to love, good luck trying to pin this personality down. They are very charming, they are great listeners, and that independent confidence that they have will make them very attractive to the people they encounter, so they don't have much of a challenge attracting romantic energy. But in terms of them settling down and being 100% finalized on the idea of one person for a lifetime, that for them is a complicated order. In a relationship, they're willing to communicate and they're generous and they're open-minded, but for people who are more traditional and want to define and label a relationship and have that as a goal, a Libra with Aquarius Moon will be a major challenge for you. They just don't really see the purpose in labels, and at some point they may get there, but it's not their top priority. They also may be a bit inconsistent in terms of stating their opinion or their feelings on one thing at one point in time, and then they may change their mind with no clear reason as to why and represent a different perspective. So to people who are more rigid on their convictions, they will see a Libra with Aquarius Moon as kind of flighty, so they're best suited with someone who has a big picture, fluid perspective, as opposed to someone that looks at the world in definitions and a more black or white perspective. So overall, a Libra with Aquarius Moon is a unique, eccentric, inquisitive, and intelligent energy that can be loving, supportive, and connected, but values freedom above all else. So if you know you need clear rules and regulations in your relationship, and you're pretty unyielding in that area, then for sure look elsewhere. But if learning about life, living in the moment, and embracing independence within a loving connection sounds good to you, then this may be your perfect match. Okay, last but not least, Libra with Pisces Moon. Well, everybody, we are introducing a definite empath here. This is a personality that feels everything. They are friendly, they're trustworthy, they're open-minded, they're creative and caretaking. But once again, we have that situation where we are putting air with water, and you will absolutely get emotional waves here. And the emotional waves are heavy to say the least. This ends up being much more of a challenge for them though than it does for the people that they interact with. When it comes to how they deal with others, they are more than willing to put the needs of others ahead of their own. So much so that they will offer up help much of the time, even when they're not even asked for it. They have incredible intuition, so they can feel when someone's in need, and then they act without second thought and will do whatever is in their power to make sure they can be a beacon of hope for anyone in distress. Now, all of you Libra with Pisces Moon people out there, remember, balance. Balance is the key to making anything thrive. So it is a beautiful thing that you're compassionate and that you're willing to share when possible, but you must, absolutely must offer yourself the same love and compassion. It is in your soul's best interest to make sure that you're balancing loving yourself with loving others. Making sure your needs are met isn't selfish, it's self-love. And when you do it in conjunction with making sure to care about the needs of others, which you naturally do, then you're going to thrive. Now, this this personality will be very resilient, but they will have definite moments of needing to retreat and recharge because they can be drained by the energy around them. They have a gift for also making people feel understood, which gives them a natural magnetism and likability. This personality will do well in whatever profession they choose to be in, as long as it doesn't involve too much mundane, detailed work. They can tend to details and they are hard workers, but they would much rather be involved in big picture pursuits where they're making people feel good and being creative and having an impact on their lives. Now, when it comes to love, both Pisces and Libra have many things in common, so those traits are going to be amplified with this personality. Both Pisces and Libra are compassionate. They're willing to compromise. They're willing to communicate, to reach a resolution. They're sensitive and emotionally expressive, but they're also both indecisive. They're both changeable, and they're very susceptible to their surroundings in terms of affecting their moods. So they will be hard to read at times and unpredictable, and when they do get triggered emotionally, it is going to be a tidal wave of emotion. So it's difficult to get them back to center the more intense the triggering is. And don't think because I'm painting a picture of them being sensitive that they're a pushover in any way. If you do cross that line and they feel like they're being taken advantage of, well, let's just say I hope you know how to bob and weave, because they will take action. So they work best with a partner who is absolutely emotionally mature and expressive and supportive, but also a personality that is practical and grounded. A Libra with Pisces Moon loves to be connected with someone decisive because it makes their lives much easier. But the partner also has to be kind and willing to look at life in a lighthearted way. Otherwise, it can bring out their tendency to feel overwhelmed. They can for sure embrace commitment, but only after their concerns have been addressed. And they will naturally have concerns because anyone who is indecisive likes to weigh all the options. They like to take all things into consideration, and they want to come to what they believe is the smartest conclusion possible. So if you find yourself involved with this astrological combination, don't take it personally if they have some questions or reservations regarding the relationship. Instead, take the time to communicate and help them diminish their fears with the reassurance that clarity can bring. So overall, a Libra with Pisces Moon is a creative, intuitive, beautiful soul with so much love to give, but they can also get caught up in emotional distractions and wrapped up in feeling for others so much that they forget to tend to their own well-being. So it is important to not only be understanding when interacting with them, but also it is important to take the time to offer the necessary support to help them when it comes to maintaining the balance of the dreamer that Pisces energy brings to their personality and the thinker that Libra brings to their personality. If you do that, you will experience a love that is full of passion, adventure, creative exploration, and a willingness to have a positive influence on the people and the world around them. Okay, so there you have it. A brief personality description of the 12 signs of Libra based on what moon sign they have. I hope you found this information useful. If you did, please hit that like button. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And if you've had any experiences with a version of Libra that you would like to share, please do. Thanks so much for taking the time to come and hang out with me. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next video.